Yeah, so that Scotland game, I saw the number 14. I thought, I'm going for this bloke. Not that I hated you, but I was Scottish, weren't I? You were English. Did you remember feeling that or not?
You're English, mate.
I'm quarter English. Do you remember?
No, I don't remember it.
You don't remember?
No.
I put you into next week.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right.
Close game.
I'll watch it back, I'll see.
28-0, I'll send you the clip.
Yeah, probably dropped the ball 6 times, missed 12 tackles, got beat by 40.
It was 9 pens. It was 28-0, close game. Might have been 23. My point being England.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Chris Ashton, England, the Ash Splash, all synonymous, the number 14 shirt. You had a decent career is what I'm saying. 40 odd caps. Should have been more.
Yeah.
Felt like it should have been more.
So do I agree. I think the Ash Splash wasn't a problem, but it kind of took its own, you know, it's like a lovable rogue. That came just unintentionally.
How did that come about? Because try celebrations,
Yeah.
you can
I
be
wish I
humble.
hadn't done it.
Why? You felt the need to keep doing it?
Yeah,
Did it hurt?
it took a life of its own, and then people generate opinions on that, and
Character assassination is what you're saying around it. People are looking at you doing that right and thinking this guy's a dickhead. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
All right.
And it was never the reason why. When you got kids who love it, like I still get stuff sent to me today, I absolutely love it. Is why why at the time I thought I could carry on doing it, but it just, I don't know, I just didn't enjoy the sideshow of it.
Really?
Yeah, no, I didn't at all.
So you felt like you had to put on this alter ego?
No.
Did you think about it when you were running through? So when you were running through and you knew there was
Yeah,
open
but like that
space.
isn't me really. That. Do you remember Room 101, the programme?
Yes.
It ended up in there.
Tell us.
The guy who used to run Countdown, Nick Hewer, he was on the show and I was just sat at home watching it. Up pops me. And he ended up dumping me in Room 101 because he hates, at the time, he hated any kind of over-the-top celebration. I'm sat at home eating my fish and chips, watching myself drop into Room 101. So there was people that didn't like it and still do this, and they just create an opinion of you through that, which, looking back, I wish I hadn't done.
But you brought a book out on it called Splashtown, or as we called it at Saracens, Shit Splash.
The reason why I did that was because we had just won the Six Nations and we all thought we had a good shot at getting to a World Cup final at the time.
So you agreed the book deal
way before. We got knocked out of the quarter final after probably one of the worst to be seen for England 2011 disaster tour. We got knocked out of the quarter final and I've got to bring this book out. I was like, I'm not doing it.
Though. Why were none of the stories in there? I remember getting it. Let's just give the people a bit of context. So, 2011 World Cup, you're in your prime, would you say, as a player?
No.
Ish. Scoring though, you're scoring?
Yeah, scoring.
Scoring.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, right, if there's a time to bring out a book, it's after the World Cup in 2011 because England have got a chance of winning it. It's in New Zealand, the profile of the team is strong. There'll be some unbelievable stories, which there were.
Yeah.
And you're going to bring out a book called, what was it called, Ash Splash or Shit Splash? What was
I
it?
can't remember.
Something in Splash.
You can buy it for £1 somewhere in the shop.
It was
It's a bookstop.
25p. I saw it in Wigan Books.
My mum's roof at her house is like this because they're all just in the loft.
Mine is too. Secret Santa every year. Ashley just got a book, bought the Ash Splash book.
It's cheaper than kindling, so it starts a good fire.
Of course
There
it
you go.
does. Where are all the stories? That's my question. So the 2011 World Cup, there weren't many rugby stories in terms of on the pitch, but the drama, why weren't they in there?
Because when you go to England, you sign a contract to sign up to being part of the team, and in that contract they can proofread any documentation like that, books or whatever they can take out. So they took all the juicy stuff out, and there was a lot of it.
It went down as one of the worst books. So it went down as maybe not one of the greatest rugby books we've seen.
I've had it brought up that to Northampton, it got burnt. I had to read it while it was on fire. It was a punishment for bringing it out. We were at a court session and I had to read a burning splashdown book. It was on fire in my hands and I had to read it. And then you bought me some at Saracens and it ended up turning into a song. George Cruz took extracts of the book and formed a song.
The Cheeky So-and-So one.
Cheeky So-and-So.
How does it go again?
She's off to Toulon. He's a
Cheeky So-and-So,
That's from the
cheeky
book.
So-and-so, she's off to Toulon. And then we put these swear words in there we probably can't share in here in case there's kids watching. So you bring out the book, it doesn't do well, but after that World Cup, England, so much happened. Martin Johnson was the head coach, obviously an absolute legend, World Cup winning, put a lot of trust in the players, didn't he, at the World Cup? And we're not going to go over old ground, but it's worth touching on it because it's part of your story as well. Playing for England, under the spotlights, and we know the spotlights, the cameras, the videos, everything that came out of that, it seemed to be a turning point for English rugby. They knew that the old-fashioned way of doing things was not the way forward anymore because of this modern world that we live in and people trying to bring down the English team.
Yeah.
It's been something that people have always wanted to do because of the arrogance of England rugby. I say that being a quarter English, but the success, my point being.
And Stuart did a good job in doing that, in putting the values and the culture back in place. That was what he was best at, bringing a team and the people back together again and joining it as it should have been. And Stuart put all that in place.
But why was it not there before, do you think? Because Jono seemed, and you could see with everything that happened, he was successful as an England coach, but...
He just didn't have that experience of, he went from player to coaching. I think they actually changed the law. I'm almost certain that they changed the law at that point. Because he didn't, like you say, I'm one of the best players we've ever had. It's very different then to going into coaching and managing all those players and coaches. So yeah, I think they changed it. You have to have certain qualifications to be able to do that job.
And then Stuart Lancaster came in after everything that happened in 2011. And there's mixed reviews on Stuart Lancaster. You only have to look how well he's done at Leinster, but you can feel and you get a sense that he was burnt by everything that happened. There were some players that were burnt by stuff that happened. Some have been more opinionated than others, and some people have different opinions on his reign and the pressure that he had around the 2015 World Cup, which didn't end well, and ultimately kind of set out his story in a way, especially in England. And the fact that he's gone to Leinster and done so well, it's almost in the shadows.
The amazing thing, I think, how well they've done afterwards. Andy Farrell, he's now got Ireland flying, and he is an amazing coach. 2 Lions Tours wins. Stuart has done unbelievable things at Leinster. They all love him. Maybe that it was for the best. What happened? I'm not the person to say that. All I know is I was involved up until the World Cup, and not getting selected. It was heartbreaking for me. It was so hard going through that. The whole process of World Cup, the fitness and the training, everything's involved to come up short. It's hard to take.
What's it like missing out? And I say that knowing myself what it's like missing out, but for someone of your character and someone that scores a lot of tries and that divides opinion, but knowing how important that World Cup would have been to you, not that it would have been the last one, but it might have been the last one. How was it in that process? Because I know how hard you worked, we've spoken about it off camera, but how hard you worked to get to the point of going, and with it being, as we know, in England, and how important that would have been for everyone that's been on your journey and everyone's journey that would have played for England.
The hardest bit for me to take in that situation was never getting a chance to play. We had a couple of warm-up games before the World Cup started, and that's all a lot of lads are relying on, like, just give me a chance, give me a chance. Because training, you know what training's like. You can only go to a certain point, and you're not showing your true self in training. It's just impossible sometimes. Sometimes they make you play games against each other and stuff. It's never the same, is it?
And you can
never the same.
And you can be the front runner in training, and we know it doesn't matter.
No.
Like, you can be the fittest, the strongest, and it's usually them that aren't the best players.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter, does it?
No, but my thinking was, if I put myself so far in front, then there's no option. I have to be there for some reason. So then to get to the end and not get in, it's hard to get over. It takes a while to get over, but you just got to, that's the way rugby is, you've got to switch focus. And then depending on your age at the time, I think you handle it differently. And by that time, you'd had some ups and downs anyway, so you handle it different and you just switch focus into your club again and just making sure that is a success.
And then with the club, and we were at Saracens together, do you think at that point, missing out on the 2015 World Cup, you'd made your mind up that England was over and you were going to cash in France? Was that kind of the start of it? Because we were at Saracens together, 2 European Cups. I say we, I was a part of it.
For 4
somehow.
minutes.
For 4 minutes. It was actually 20 seconds. I'll take the 4 minutes in my last year. But such a successful period, and you were looking for the exit. You were looking for the door to get to France.
It was a good place for me to turn to. You know what it was like there, and they were good people, and everyone had each other's back, so it was an easy place to lose out in one situation and then to be at a club like Saracens was the best place for me, because you know they got the best interest at heart. At the end of the 2015, Stuart obviously gets sacked and Eddie comes in, so I'm like, right, I'm chance. I'll get back in here.
You think there was a chance in
Oh
Eddie?
wow, yeah, I was like, I'm back in here, because we were going well at Saracens, and I was doing well, and everything what Eddie was saying was positive. A week before Six Nations starts in 2016, I get done for an eye gouge. Oh, that one changed literally changed a lot of my career, the direction of my career. I didn't do it, flat out didn't do it.
Against Ulster?
Against Ulster. Can't say that about all of them, all the bands, but that one I did not do.
Well, that's important though, that you are saying that, because there are no-nos in rugby, and I've been gouged a couple of times. I know how passionate you are about this one, and it's something that you have said that you will take to your grave, that you didn't do it, and you're saying it again.
It was just, I mean, the whole situation was pretty ridiculous. But my hands was on his face for 0.06 of a second. How do you don't gouge something like that. But anyway, the impact, I literally sat there and cried in this room, like, you cannot take, this is the opportunity for me to get back in. You cannot take it away from me. And I can see him now, there's a French disciplinary man who's like, nah, don't have any interest in it. Like the England's done here if you don't accept what I'm telling you is right. No, I didn't want it. 10 weeks. 10 weeks. And then I spoke to Eddie after it, and he was like, you'd have played, mate, you'd have started.
Is that worse?
It was worse. It was way worse. But again, that's just another situation. People might say, look, it's your own fault or whatever it is, so you have to just take it for what it is, and just went back to type where I was train as much as I can and get myself back in the situation. But England, 26, as soon as Eddie comes in, they go on and win this Grand Slam. I'm sat at home like, man, where do I go from here? But just revert to what I know, train harder, do whatever I can, play well at Saracens, and the chance will come. It never did, never came, because they were so successful. They just kept going and going and going.